Hey guys, I'm back with yet another interview, this time with ItsFayne, who went for a world record stream this weekend while we were doing the Alpha 1 testing, and I want to talk to him about it and a little bit of Ashes and how everything went. So sit back and tune in for a little bit more of a long form content than I usually do. Remember to give this video a thumbs up or a like if you like this type of content, and subscribe if you haven't done so.
What you think about when you're born into a fire?
All right, guys. So we have with us today the one and only ItsFayne. Fayne, if you don't mind, I'm gonna drop the It's and I'm just gonna go with Fayne if you're okay with that. Okay, good. Now that we've settled that.
I wish I could have Fayne. I wish I could have just normal Fayne, but it's already taken everywhere. I'm late to the game.
You were doing your own massively important stream this weekend, so you didn't hear about me. But my Twitch name has been Zillin_live because I've tried for years and years and years to get just Zillin, and it's always been taken. And Saturday night after my stream at like 3 o'clock in the morning, on a whim, I was like, yeah, let me go check, and sure enough, it was available, and so I got to change mine to it's just twitch.com/Zillin.
Oh. Congrats.
Right. That's way more important than my really good stream that I had. That's way better.
Yeah. As long as you get the right name. The Fayne name's been taken by a streamer. I think he's a Russian streamer who's been streaming Call of Duty to one viewer for the past 3 years.
Nice.
And I tried to type with a translator, and I don't think he was responding too well. So.
Oh man, that sucks. That sucks. And I was laughing because your name kind of sounds like what your wife or girlfriend says to you whenever she's really mad, but she don't want to tell you. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. It's fine.
So anyway, we got Fayne with us. Fayne, do you want to take just a minute to tell us a little bit like who you are and what you do and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I'll give you like kind of a quick rundown of my history, especially on Twitch. I started off on Twitch playing semi-professional Overwatch. Way back in the day, I transitioned to PUBG for a while, and I was using a name back then. We had to switch it up just for some branding reasons because it was going to conflict with someone else in the league. We stumbled on Fayne. We went with ItsFayne. And yeah, for the past year, I've been creating Ashes of Creation content full time and been having a blast doing it. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So that was one of my questions was going to be what, when did you decide to focus on Ashes? When was that when it made you go, well, this is what I want to focus on?
I felt like once we had this recent surge of popularity, it was time to really jump in and start. There have been, a lot of people that have been making Ashes content since inception, since the Kickstarter, since 2017.
Right, yeah. Some people are way old at it.
Oh, there are hundreds of episodes in, and I feel like there's not enough information throughout that point. And I've seen so many like podcast streamers shows kind of come in and then burn out on the back end. Because it's a little bit. I think we're now at the point where, and I think you'd agree with me on this, Zillin, like we're at the point where we're getting enough information and a steady flow of information, and there's great stuff to talk about, and then we can always throw in a little theory crafting here and there. Right.
Yeah, definitely a little theory crafting and all that. And of course now we have gameplay, so like we can actually play the game and stream it. So like, yeah, it's definitely time, no question about that. So just to let the viewers know, your Twitch channel is ItsFayne, and I'll definitely have that in the description below and all that stuff. But you are actually a part of a podcast as well, the Two Guys in a Bard podcast, correct?
Yeah, Two Guys in a Bard, our favorite cocktail hour every Wednesday. Gives me an excuse for some midweek drinks.
Yeah, exactly. In my personal opinion, it is bar none the best Ashes of Creation podcast out there, and I'm actually an official member on another podcast, and I think y'all's is better, so that's saying something, right?
We won't tell them. It's okay.
Yeah, we don't tell nobody that. But yeah, I mean, and that's no disrespect to the other people who are running podcasts, because there's a bunch of good ones, but I think you guys have just the perfect balance of personalities and viewpoints and styles and delivery styles and all that, and it's just, I think it's great. So I want you to definitely keep that up. I definitely want to encourage my viewers to go check that one out whenever they have time on Wednesday nights, you said?
Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm literally messing that up still from this last weekend of streaming. I think I misquoted those times about 100 times.
Well, I think that they're actually planning on combining those time zones anyways and calling it the Eastern time zone. So I think you're good.
We're going to just go a universal time zone.
Right.
It's like the cryptocurrency of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's all universal.
Yes.
But
that's exactly.
You were on recently, and we had a blast with you. We had an absolute blast with you on. That was great. We really want to have you back again soon.
Oh yeah, no, I know we talked about it a little bit live, but absolutely, like you guys talk about wanting to do like a rotation, like every month or 2 months or something. I'm like, yes, let's absolutely do that. So I'm excited about that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Also, you are a member of the Guild Axiom.
I am a member of the Guild Axiom. Yeah, great PVX guild.
Are you the leader of Axiom?
So I'm not. Axiom's been around now in one form or another for 5. We're coming up on 6 years. It'll be 6 years this October. I've been around for just over a year. We've got some great leadership. We're sitting at about 500-600 members, a ton of A1 testers. We're kind of a multi-game community. So I am not the leader. I am in some sort of officer style position,
leadership
just because.
Position.
Yeah, they know that I have no problem doing paperwork, and they can put that right on me.
Oh, yeah. Boy,
of course.
That's never the reason that I get promoted to officer. It's never because Zillin will do the paperwork. That's pretty funny. So that was another thing, and I've been doing this quite a bit. I did this quite a bit in my stream. I've done it a couple of times in my videos. If you're out there right now and you are looking for a guild, and an organization and community and strong leadership are what you're looking for in a guild, I have 2 suggestions. That's Axiom and Virtue. Both of them have excellent leadership structures. They have cool members all up and down throughout the ranks. They support each other. If you drop into a stream of somebody who's in Virtue, there's lots of other Virtue members and they're watching them and supporting them. Same thing with Axiom. So if you're looking for a guild like that, check those 2 guilds out. They're fantastic. And I think they're a really good option for anybody who's looking for a guild right now, because now's the time. If you're one of those that thinks getting on the guild train early is a good thing, now is the time for sure.
100%. I don't think this is going to be a very fun game to play without
by yourself,
without a guild. Yeah, if you're playing solo, you might have some really rough times, and getting together with the community now and really integrating in that community, I think, is so important.
Right. No, man, I'm pretty much right there with you. And yeah, I've been preaching if you're playing this particular game by yourself, you're doing it wrong. I've been preaching that like the whole time. I got asked several times, during the streams this weekend if like a pure support role would be viable. And I'm like, yes, because you need to be in a group. Yes, absolutely.
Also, please give me your number so I can call you when we're ready to go run something. Because we're going to need you. That's for sure.
Yes. Also, show up at this time. Okay, so you went for a world record on the start of the NDA lift. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was. It kind of started off as a whim. I went for the world record for the longest continuous Ashes of Creation stream. And I know that, there's a lot of people out there saying, well, this is our first time we've been able to play. How could anyone have set a record before you?
Right.
My criteria was a continual record, continuously in front of the camera, not just sitting back and watching a video or anything like that.
Right.
The record was held by a creator who's no longer creating. He's actually is expecting his second child right now. So he just sort
awesome.
of... Yeah, he announced a hiatus, but Tavernside Gaming, shout out Tavernside if you ever see this, a great guy. And we were in a voice chat, actually after one of the 2 guys at a Bard podcast. And I said, you have the longest record. I had just looked it up on a Twitch tracking website. I said, I think you have the longest record. It's 24 hours and 27 minutes. And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to beat it. And I said, let's double it. Let's just do a 48-hour stream. Let's just go for a 48-hour stream.
Right.
Let's just do it.
I like that. It's like, that mentality of, well, yeah, I mean, I could beat your record, but why not just go ahead and just smash your record into a million pieces and set the bar so high nobody else or very few will dare to even attempt it. I like that mentality, and I was a little curious if you were going to be able to pull that off. I mean, I'll tell you, I did a 10.5-hour stream on Saturday and my voice was shot. I was tired. I woke up the next day, so my body was physically sore, and I was going, I sat in a recliner for 10 hours and played video games and my body is sore. How the hell is it? I seriously was like, I'm going to go check Fayne's stream because there's no way he's there. There's no way. You can't do this for 24 hours or 48 hours. And every time I do that, sure enough, there's FayNe sitting there in front of the screen killing people. And I was just like, this dude's got something else on him. So how did it go? Did you accomplish your goal?
So I didn't accomplish my goal entirely. So
okay.
The first 24 went really smooth. Margaret was coming in, checking in every once in a while. A bunch of the mods were in there.
Nice.
Chat was huge. I think we averaged probably 100, 120 people throughout the entire weekend,
right.
Which is great.
Mm-hmm.
A ton of support.
Mm-hmm.
Around 4:30 a.m. my time, we discovered kind of a memory leak within the game. So a memory leak but it was a combination of that and my computer was just no longer ready. It just didn't want to play after. My computer was done. It was saying, this is way too much, keeping in mind that I've been streaming and recording the entire time. My computer just sort of said it was done. And I was doing this at the screen. I was nodding off big time, guys. and I kind of, I had this moment and I had this thought and I said, I could definitely push through this. I could cut the recording. I could absolutely just push through this, finish it off, be happy. But the other thought is, I'm now at 45 and a half hours. It's not quite 48. I can let someone else do it because I think I'm even more excited than I am to create this record myself. I'm excited to be there when somebody else is trying to beat my record. That's what I want. I really want someone to shoot for this. I want somebody to get in there and absolutely crush it. Probably someone younger than you and me, Zillin. I think you're 10 hours of feeling sore. I was pretty shot on Sunday, so we're leaving it to the next generation to get in there. And
there we go. Yeah. I think marathon streams are a young man's game because I can't do that.
I think 24 I could do pretty easily. I think I could do a 24 every once in a while, but any more than 24, there's no shot. My voice, I was hoarse by the end of it. I couldn't get 2 words out.
Yeah, I imagine. So I think the question that I want to have answered, and I think everyone in my community wants to have answered, I think this is a fair question. How long did you sleep, bro? How long did you sleep?
You guys, so you'd be surprised. I fell asleep about 4:30 in the morning, got off. I went right to bed and I woke up at 12:30. I got just a solid 8 hours. It didn't really take that much more. I had energy. I got up, I went for a jog. I did some grocery shopping, just got some stuff done. I came back, watched some streams, kind of supported the people. I knew that I wasn't going to go live. So just hung out with the Axiom community. It wasn't too bad, actually. It was pretty good.
Okay. So that leads me to another question, which is, when did you have the cyborg implants put in? Because only sleeping 8 hours after that nonsense you're clearly
everyone
a robot.
said, it's going to take 5 years off your life. And my theory is those are the years at the end of your life. Those are the bad years anyway. Yes, it's fine. I've still got these years right now. No, it'll be great. I've done it a lot. I historically have been a bartender many times in my life. I've done jobs where I would stay up 2 or 3 days at a time for various things. So I have no problem. Sleep isn't a big mandatory thing for me. Right. Plus content creation. We don't get sleep. Sleep counts when you're editing videos. That counts as your sleep time. So
Right. Yeah, no question about that. Like even though I'm at a point now, or I should say before we had footage, now that we have footage, we actually have to spend time in the editing room and like going and editing the footage and putting it all together. Whereas before this, at least for me, I was turning on the camera, turning on one of the videos that Steven had already made in the background and just talking about the game and what, from my perspective. Like it took no time to put together videos, no time. But it was like, even when it was like that, every time there was something that got announced, I'd have to run to my computer and make a video about, the update. And, I had to stay on top of everything that's going on in the Ashes world all the time. And so you're kind of like always on. And so like my wife and I'd be sitting there and I'd be like, okay, I already made a video today, so let's just watch TV tonight or whatever. And then, my phone would ding and it would be, Steven with a new announcement. I'd be like, oh, got to get up and go. Got to go right now, and run to my computer, and it was like,
And now we've got so much of it. There's so much to do right now. I think that it's so open for content creation over the next 30 days. I'm really excited to see what people are going to come up with.
Yes, me too. I'm really fired up for that. I have some ideas of my own. I'm curious what ideas other people are going to have, all of that stuff. Yeah, I'm really excited. I couldn't focus too much on content creation during this initial preview weekend. I wanted to, but I just could. It was just too much. I think I told you this a little bit off stream. I was expecting to be streaming to 15, and it was when it ended up being 115. I wasn't prepared for that. My Twitch channel doesn't have any bells or whistles. I don't have channel point rewards and nothing. And so I was just like, I need more. So anyway, I'm excited to focus on more of the content creation after.
Yeah, it was definitely a shock, I think, for a lot of people. I saw a lot of the small OG streamers from the Twitch kind of community coming in and just seeing their numbers doubled or tripled or quadrupled. And I think a lot of people, that's the one thing I hear is, I was shocked. I was not prepared for this.
Yes, I was not. That's what I kept saying. I was not prepared at all for it. I really thought, I was like, Asmongold is going to have all the views, and then all of the when I say mid-tier, it's like, no, these guys are really, really popular and they kill it on YouTube, but like Bellular and Kira TV and Lazy Peon and, those guys are all going to have a whatever Asmongold doesn't have. And then there's going to be the established Ashes content creators like Samurg and Jalon. And then there's going to be the guy scraping the bottom of the barrel. And then I'm going to be hoping that the guy scraping in the bottom of the barrel accidentally drops some viewers back into the barrel whenever I get to it. That's how I was looking at it. And I didn't end up what was the case at all. And so, I wasn't prepared at all, for all of that. It was crazy, man.
I think it shows how much people are excited for this game and how much people are excited for a change. I think Asmongold was streaming to 135,000 people at his peak. I mean, it's incredible. It's exciting. I think that's more than most of his WoW streams get. So seeing this many people in the category, we got up to the 5th largest category on Twitch.
Wow, for a beta or an alpha.
For an early development alpha is incredible, and it's really humbling to be part of this experience. And it really is.
Yeah, I know. It definitely knocked my ego down a couple of pegs. The humility is exactly correct. So let me ask you a question. Can you tell me about your MMO experience? Where do you come from in terms of actual MMOs?
So my MMOs have always been my passion. Right, the FPS side, I've been relatively skilled at, and they're fun. But I love MMOs. I started probably in 1998. There was a small community-driven MMO called Nexus: Kingdom of the Winds, a little 2D MMO. It's still going strong to this day. After that, I moved on to games like SWTOR, Guild Wars 2. Now, I missed the WoW boat. I was still in love with Nexus, in love with these same few thousand people that I would see every day. I definitely missed the WoW boat. In Star Wars: The Old Republic, I was in a guild that was pushing for some world first raiding. We ended up getting the first raid down, world third, I believe.
Okay.
And then in Guild Wars 2, I was pushing for world first for a specific legendary weapon. I got server first. I did not get world first, unfortunately. But I've always bounced around MMOs. I've loved them. I think they're all a lot of fun. Everyone's got their benefits, and I've given Final Fantasy 14 more shots than I probably even care to admit. And I think that's why when I saw Ashes of Creation in 2017 and I saw the Kickstarter, I said, okay, I can get behind this project. This is an exciting project because it's such a huge scope. And I'm like, all right, this is it. We're going in on this one. We're 100% going in. I think this is going to be the MMO, or at least the MMO for me. As much fun as WildStar and things like that were. This is the one.
This is the one. Yeah, this is the one for you. Do you have a favorite? Let's go ahead and put the caveat in there. Released. A favorite released MMO of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just mentioned it. WildStar. WildStar was my favorite MMO. It was so much fun. I kind of did the same thing that I've done with Ashes. I was following it for all the development updates
Hmm.
prior to it launching,
Yeah.
every scrap of news that came out of everywhere. I was gobbling up. The issue that came down that in retrospect makes a lot of sense, but in the moment, little young Fane couldn't really see that. They kept
Uh-huh.
saying, "We're making a game for the 1%. We're making an MMO for the
Yeah.
1%."
Right.
And in retrospect, it's like, well, that only means 1% of your player base is really going to
Hmm.
enjoy this. The other 99 are going to fall off, and that's what ended up
Right.
happening. You
Right.
know, um,
Right.
that was their Star Wars: The Old Republic was probably a close second with Star Wars
Hmm.
Galaxies. Both of those had different pros and cons to me. I'm a huge Star Wars guy, so both of those
Yeah.
I love to death.
I
What about like
was
what about you? I want to know Zillin's favorite MMO. Like, what's your number one MMO of all time?
probably Dark Age of Camelot.
Good choice. Really good choice.
Yeah, probably Dark Age of Camelot. SWTOR will always have a special place in my heart because that's where I learned about rating and competitive rating, progression rating, and I fell in love with that. But I mean, I lived in Dark Age of Camelot. Like I was in my young 20s, and that was when it was still acceptable to live with your parents, and I did, and I didn't have a job, and I played Dark Age of Camelot 16 hours a day, 18 hours a day, I don't know, some absurd amount.
Just that
So,
and
yeah.
sleep all the time.
Yeah, pretty much. And it, yeah, I love that game. But I also just like you said, SWTOR is a close second. Even though like I kind of have a love-hate relationship with that game as well because I don't agree with almost anything that they've ended up doing with it. But the idea, the original concept of the game, I really, really love. So, and it's funny that you bring up, because I didn't know that like you were a server first chasing type of guy. You were doing world first, that you were a competitive Valorant player, not Valorant. What did you say?
Overwatch.
That's the one. That you were competitive and all that. So, and the reason I find it funny is because me watching you play on stream, even like 30 hours in, like you'd been awake and playing a video game for 30 hours where I would be dead. The word that kept coming to my mind with your gameplay was competence. This guy is extremely competent. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's already got his character memorized. He knows all the best abilities. He knows what order to use them in, all of those things. And as a former raid leader, I think I'm conditioned to notice those things in people. I'm like, ooh, competence. Can I offer you a spot on a raid team, sir? Yeah, definitely, man. I definitely noticed the really, really high competence level. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm a big guy. Like something that I'm planning on doing in the future, especially as we get into Alpha 2 and we get these classes more fleshed out, is I want to really get in there and try every class, kind of mess around with every class and spend a good amount of time. I'm not saying like log on and play it for a bit. Alpha 2 is going to be persistent. It'll probably be for a while. I want to maybe spend a week on every single class.
Right, absolutely.
Really see which one fits my playset. Which one do I feel extremely comfortable with? And in these alphas so far, we've seen the cleric being really strong, the tank and the mage. I've still always gravitated towards the mage because it feels like a good play style. So, and it was the mage is very strong right now, so I'm pretty happy that it was competence by accident, I think. But I'll take it when I can get it. Let me tell you.
Yeah, competence by accident. No, man, you can't slip that crap by me, dude. I've been doing this for too long. I know competence when I see it. That competence because of competence, not accident. Oh, that's too funny, man. So let's kind of shift. And I know we've kind of interlaced Ash's conversation throughout this entire interview, but I kind of want to focus on Ash's now specifically. What would you say is like your favorite like feature of the game, the thing that's like drawn you in the most?
I would say, it's tough, right? There's so much that I love about the game, but the thing that I say, and this is the cliche answer, is very simply nodes. I love the idea that my server is not going to spin itself up in the same way that any other server ever does. And the history and the documentation of a server is really important.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been like a hardcore political person. I'm not an Eve player where I
Right.
infiltrate for 2 years just to destroy something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the politics having extreme ramifications in this game are really important. And I
Right.
always bring this up as an example. I'm really excited to see when maybe there's 4 or 5 guilds, big guilds in this metro, and you guys lose your siege and the metro is level 0. And you guys
Right.
have all kind of been allies and working together. Well, who's going to decide to leave and go somewhere
Uh-huh.
new? Who's going to
Mm-hmm.
decide to rebuild so because they loved what they once had? And
Mm-hmm.
how is that going to create conflict in the game and these shifting alliances? So I think the node system really drives so much in this game
Yep.
that I'm really excited to see it all. That being said, classes, dungeons, raids, it's all the
Right.
ship. I'm going to spend months on a ship just being a pirate and getting naval caravans and things like that. I can see it.
That's funny. Yeah, and that's a really good answer. And I think it's one of the reasons I like asking that question is because I basically just asked you which of your children is your favorite.
Yeah,
like
100%. Yeah.
That's what that is. And it's really interesting to see people start hemming and hawing because like to me, I'm right there with you. The node system is amazing. And a lot of my videos have been trying to get people to understand that everything that we think we know about MMOs, we need to unlearn for this game because the nodes change so much. The nodes they're going to massively change the way we look at games. And I think that even though I feel like I'm a little bit on the forefront of talking about that, there's no chance that I've already thought about all the ways in which it's going to change. So there's even more out there. I'm just on the surface of it, of thinking about that. But at the same time, this artisan system, I'm in, dude. Like I love now we haven't got to play with it yet, but I love the idea of the artisan system, the 64 classes, the way that your skills augment and you have all these choices, the way we're going to go about building our characters. Like, every time if it depends on what day you ask me, I might have a different answer for you every day of the week on what my favorite aspect of this game is.
It just depends what's being hyped right now, and
Yes.
I love the hard choices that they're making that you don't see because you never really think about it in an MMO, but all of a sudden it's like, yeah, why did I kill that deer and it had a great sword on it? Who gave that deer a great sword? That seems really irresponsible. You can't give deer swords. That. I think that kind of stuff. So where you now have the choice, and I think that's something that I hark on a lot in streams. People say, well, can I do X and can I do Y? You can do X and a little bit of Y, or you can do Y and a little bit of X. You're not going to be able to do 100% of all of it.
Right.
That's a big one. And something I want to ask you kind of while we're on the topic of nodes and while on the topic of the world in general.
Sure.
How did you feel about like the size of the map, knowing that the map we're seeing now is currently about, the way I've understood it, 12.5 to 15% of the overall world.
Right. I like it. I know that some other content creators have put out videos where they're not really happy with the size. They say it's too big, and I think that especially for old school guys like you and I, we kind of have a different perspective on the value of travel time. As Steven puts it, he wants travel time to matter. And so I think we have a little bit of a different perspective because we lived that. And even though playing Dark Age of Camelot 20 years ago, and I would think about, I'm at Camelot now and I need to get down to the Salisbury Plains, which is, even if I buy the horse ticket and ride the horse all the way there, it's like a 14-minute horse ride. But if I don't have the money for the horse ticket, it's a freaking 45-minute run through dangerous territory to get there. I bitched about it and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a problem. I'm not a fan of this or whatever. But once it was taken away from me and everything became instant and easy, I harken back to those days with, I see. I understood. It gave value to my choices. It increased player agency. It does a whole bunch of things. I'm in the same way with Group Finder. Like the first time I saw a Group Finder and I was able to just get into a dungeon like that, I was like, this is the best thing ever. But as time went by, I was like, these Group Finders create a lot of problems. So as far as the world size, yes, I was happy with it. It's a huge world. When we get into the actual world, it's going to be massive and it's going to take a long time to go across it. And so you're not going to just zip over there to the other side of the world to grab something. There may be something over there that you want, and you may say, I'm going to make the trip over there, but you're going to plan it out. You're going to spend an hour like, okay, I need to make sure I have potions. I got to make sure I have this. I should probably invite a friend or two, like, all of that stuff.
That's what you're
Exactly.
doing today, is jipping over to the other, because that's the number one comment I hear is people say, well, I'll just run to this node and then I'll run over there and grab that. And then I'll run down here. And I'm like, nuh-uh, not
Right.
unless you're putting in a 48-hour game session.
Yes,
because it takes a while to get around the entire, just in the small part of the map. I got on a mount and I took what I believe to be roughly the most like optimal paths around the entire map, and it took me an hour and 18 minutes to make and my only goal was to walk through the center of every node. That was my only goal. That didn't include dungeons, that didn't include the raids. I wasn't questing, I wasn't killing. Just running on a mount took me 1 hour 17 minutes, I think is what it was, and I was just blown away.
Yep, I had roughly the same experience. I had people asking questions. They wanted to know like what the different size nodes look like and stuff. And I was on stream was kind of like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to start down in Winstead, and I'm going to go Winstead up to Mistmire to Drythorn, and then around all the way around to Nala, which kind of leads you through all of them.
Interesting. I did the opposite of you. I think I went Drythorn, Mistmire to Winstead, up to Nala and around to Trader's Rock. Back down over to Drythorn, and then caught up on Elion and Moon Hollow on the left.
Okay.
It was I did a circuit for sure, and there's parts of the world that running through a dungeon, running through that large dungeon with the dragon at the end of it. I mean,
I didn't do that. I saw
massive.
I jumped into BCG stream and I saw him just on a mount, just running through the dungeon so people could see it, and he was just like avoiding all the combat or whatever by just running, staying on his mount and running. I didn't do that, so I'm excited to do that in the future. I've also been putting together a crew of people that we have like an actual 2 tanks, 2 heals, and 4 DPS set up, and we're gonna do all the dungeons and record them all and all that stuff. So we have that coming up here in this next.
That'll be a blast. I'm excited to see that. That'll be a blast, because that's BCG has the optimal strat right now. Is if you're by yourself, you just run.
Yeah, just run
and hope you don't get clipped into anything, because you're probably dead.
Yeah, you're gonna die if you clip for sure. I made that same path to show everybody this is every node, and when we would get to one that was actually developed, I would say, okay, well, this is stage 1 or this is stage 3, and so people could see the difference, and it was like an hour and a half or something, just on my horse, just traveling around the world. Of course, the world is so beautiful, and chat was going nonstop, so there was plenty of content during that time, but it was, as far as gameplay, it was just running, and I like the way you put that we would be, how did you say that would be what you do today? Like the travel. And that's exactly right. Like that's what you're going to do. You're going to be like, okay, well, today I'm going to go from this side of the world to that side of the world. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to do the dungeon over there that drops the augment that I want. Like that's what you're going to be doing.
Exactly. This is multi-stage. It's like, oh, tomorrow night we're all going into the raid. Well, the raid's 4 hours away. So today my goal is to get my character to the raid, because it's going to take a hot minute for sure.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm very excited about that part of it. The what I call the old school mechanics, the things that Steven is bringing back from, 50 years ago. So that's going to be fun. So do you have any like, was there something in the alpha test or something about this game so far that you're like, I'm not as big of a fan of that? Like something you think they need to change or get rid of or anything like that? Do you have anything in that vein?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that they need to change. There's a lot that they're working on. I'm going to hold back specific judgment just because, and this is the biggest misconception I think going along out there, is people are saying, the game looks really rough. Yeah, right. It's an alpha 1. Usually these early alpha stages, we're just trying to keep a server stable. We're just trying to make sure that monsters and NPCs work. We're trying to make sure that when you turn in a quest, you're getting the experience. It's such basic back-end functionality that there's no content. The content is really lackluster. And so I think that in alpha 2, I will probably come down with a much more critical hammer and be in there really asking for tweaks on stuff. But as of right now, I mean, I think where they've come and where we've seen them come over the last few months has been absolutely amazing. And to be able to keep servers up for essentially 72 hours with a couple small patches, I think it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Absolutely. No, they really have moved the game along a lot in that time. Did you notice anything, any like themes in your chat with like specific things that people were pointing out? Oh, that I'm not as big a fan of that. Because I definitely had the same like few things get brought up a lot of times.
Some of the combat, they said the combat felt clunky. Moving forward as you're using your auto attack like on a tank where you just kind of inch forward slowly.
No, you foot forward or yard forward.
Yard forward. You're not inching forward. You're stepping through things. And I think with a big combat rework coming, I think we'll be in pretty good shape here. I'm really excited to what they see. But overall, chat, they wanted to see a lot of the skills, the skill trees, things like that, and they wanted to see a lot of the different abilities being done. And is super happy to kind of show that stuff off. The one thing that I heard on a positive note, and this was a very consistent thing that chat was saying, is it's incredible. We have this whole tropical biome up north. We've got a desert into a swamp into a forest. Right. And they transition so seamlessly. They do. It doesn't feel like here and then a river and then there's the new zone. Right. It feels extremely natural to go from one to the other. And I think that's huge shout out to Michael Bacon and the environmental artists. The environment are crushing it.
They're killing it. So the two biggest positives I got were the environment. Like everybody was just like, oh, I can't believe how pretty the environments are and how, like you said, the transition between the biomes and all that stuff. And then just the general stability that was there. I mean, the servers were up for most of the time and they had to take them down for a couple of little things, but like it wasn't as bad as it was the original Alpha one. If people would have seen that, they'd have been like, "Oh God!"
People have been doing since December, and they would have had a very different opinion for sure.
Yes, no doubt about that. That was the two big positives, and the two big things that got pointed out over and over again that people were not fans of were the yarding forward as you're auto attacking, which I have been like just. It makes me so mad. I'm like, I don't think that my character should move unless I move him. That drives me crazy. And then, the sprint animation, the Star Trek warp effect all the way around the screen is so stupid. And it's funny that the two things that I'm just like gritting my teeth, like, oh my God, this is dumb. But I don't want to like be that negative about something, the two things that I'm like that about were the two things that the chat kept pointing out, and I'm like, yes, it's quite stupid.
I forgot about that sprint animation. That definitely, I've heard a lot of negative things about that, and this is the funny thing, because I'm sure you got a decent amount of this in your chat as well, because it was going around the community of $500 for an Alpha 1. Why are you paying $500? And the thing I pointed out was, and I probably brought this up 15, 20 times, is
you were live for 167 consecutive hours.
Well, yeah, that's true. So it makes sense. But their mage video that they put out, where they had that extremely kind of superfluous, flary fireball animation. And then I showed them the fireball animation that's in game. And I said, do you want to know why this is different? Because the community came out and said, we don't like this. It doesn't feel good. Intrepid is extremely receptive to feedback, and they can look at that. I mean, they could take that sprint animation away in a second, and I don't think it would really hurt the overall game. I don't think that they're in love with the sprint animation. It's not what they're to have. So that's why we're in here doing this, right? So we really want to make sure that we can give our feedback specifically to Intrepid, because they'll take it and they welcome it.
Yes. I numerous times throughout my stream reminded people, go to the forums. There's a feedback section of the forum. Go leave your feedback. You don't need to be a tester. You can be literally, I was watching Fayne on stream for 127 consecutive hours, and these are the things that I hated. Boom. And they listen, they encourage that feedback. Absolutely. I'm right there with you on that we definitely need to, send in your feedback to them on stuff that you don't like. And as a corollary to that, they do change things based on the feedback, like you just said. There's the tank. Several of the tank skills don't even work the way that the tank archetype video said they
shows
would.
that they're going to work. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
They don't even work the same way. So, yeah, they'll definitely change things. So I have one more question for you, and then I'll let you get out of here and return to your super, super busy, important life. So I noticed watching your stream that you have named your community or your followers, you call them the Faniacs, which is
Faniacs, yeah.
That's great, man. Like coming up with a name like that, the Faniacs. And that made me realize that I've made a huge mistake. What am I going to call my community? We don't have something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on the spot. What do I need to call the Zillion community when it doesn't just roll right off the tongue with Faniacs like that? So go ahead.
I think you could get away, and I'm sure this is already taken, so we're not going to stick with this one. But
okay.
Looking at your branding, seeing your kind of Spartan-esque helmet with the swords, I think something like the Legion, like welcome to the Legion.
The Legion,
welcome to something like that. I think something like that would be amazing. I think that would be great branding for you. Not necessarily that, because now that I say it out loud, I'm like, I guarantee somebody's got that, right? I 100% guarantee he's got
We're not worried about what other people have. That's fine.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But something like
there's
that,
nothing new under the sun. Okay.
Exactly.
So,
but I think it's really important to make your community feel like just that they are part of a community,
sure,
and that they can kind of unite when they're in your stream. They can unite under one banner because we're all here together. And so I just love having a little something like that.
No, that's really good, and it actually goes with my. I don't know if you heard it. My follower alert when I get a new follower, it's the World of Warcraft knight that's like ready to serve, my lord.
See, and that's sort of what the other part that was kind of dreaming. I did hear that a couple times in your stream this weekend. Yeah.
So there we go. And then I've been it says something like ItsFayne is now a squire, or it doesn't say subscriber. I think squire is the word that I put in there. So going with the Legion or something, that's good, man. I might have to see. I knew I could ask you this question in a jokey way, but you'd give me a serious and good answer.
I'm here for you. We're gonna get the Legion up there, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Let's
get over there at twitch.tv/Zillin. Get the Legion going. Join.
Oh, that's too funny, man. All right. So before we get out of here, do you want to remind everybody where they can find you?
I make it really easy, guys. ItsFayne.com. You go there, find all my social links: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. Click on them. It doesn't cost you anything. Click the follow button. It's great. Come out and visit me. I'm sure I'll be seeing Zillin around Vera, and maybe we'll get into a duel this time. Maybe we can have a little duel. I want to get a streamer PvP tournament going this time.
Oh, that's a good idea. We'd have to get all the streamers on the same server, but that's a really good idea.
Maybe a level 3 PvP tournament. Maybe something like
there we
real
go.
basic.
Yeah. No, it's everybody has 10 minutes to run to Nala and then run to Ilwind and do everything in Nala and Ilwind, and you'd be like level 5 or 6, and then we go.
Then we're good to go. I like that.
I like that. That's good. That's
Is
good.
that Hunger Games? Did we just create Vera Hunger Games?
Yeah, that's what we did. Did we just become best friends?
Did we become best friends?
That's too funny. All right, guys, everybody, go check out ItsFayne. He's an awesome content creator. He's been killing it. If you really want to watch somebody who's capable of being competent for 127 consecutive hours while there's a camera on him, this is your man right here. Go check him out, and we'll see you guys in the next video. All right, guys, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, I really do appreciate it. I really enjoyed this interview. I think Fayne's a really cool guy, and I hope that he and I can do some more collaborations in the future. But that's all I have for today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.